Hello, and welcome back to Bees and Tea Stitching. I'm Tina, as always. So to my new subscribers, welcome, and to my guys who've been sticking with me for a while, welcome back. I always appreciate it. Um, so this is a floss tube about cross stitch, yeah, obviously, hopefully, and a few other things. So hopefully you find it interesting. What am I drinking today? So, the tea of the week is. I don't remember if I had tried this one before. This is from my Disney collection, the one that I got from Walt Disney World at Epcot. They have the different pavilions for different companies, and they have, different countries. And they have England. And of course, I had to get tea in England because, shameless Anglophile. So, this is a Earl Grey extra bold, and I did put a little bit of milk in it, just because a nice milky tea is always good. There you go, kind of see it. This is actually very, very good. I've already taken one sip. Sorry. Oh, that's good. I know I usually wait till I'm on camera, but I had to take a sip before. But it is definitely extra bold. So if you like that bergamot flavor, you'll like this. And I don't know whether that's widely available or not, but I'm sure you can find it somewhere. Alright, so, personal life and updates. Same old, same old. Still working, still staying at home mostly. Every once in a while, go out and shopping and stuff. But that's really about it. There's nothing terribly interesting going on. Sorry, I keep touching my face. Um, so, yeah, pretty much same old, same old. For Milk Call, got a few really cool comments this week. So I'll try to go through them fairly quickly. The first one was from Amanda Hoying. She'd mentioned that she had done a diamond painting of Starry Night. Um, right as I started stitching in earnest, so maybe year and a half ago or so. Diamond painting wasn't really a huge thing yet, but I was actually getting some cross stitching supplies from Michaels, and I saw a diamond painting of Starry Night, and I didn't know what it was. I had no idea what a diamond painting was, and I have to admit, I kind of regret not getting. I thought about it, and I was like, I think it was like $35. I'm like, that's a lot to spend on something I don't know anything about. So I passed on it, and the rest is history. I still haven't diamond painted, so we'll see. Maybe one day. But I thought that was kind of cool. And Pat Dumont talked about overdying floss, and I had mentioned this to her in the email, but I wanted to just talk about it real quick. A lot of people are kind of, because she was thinking about bobbinating, and a lot of people are kind of anti-bobbination, if that's a word, because it can kink the floss, which is actually true. If you do it kind of tightly, or I guess if you keep it on there a while, the floss can kink. But see, when you pull it out, I've never had a problem with it just stitching normally. The kinks seem to work themselves out because they're not really hard kinks or anything. So I really don't have any problem bobbinating. Um, it's also a lack of space. I don't have room. Some people have some great ideas for the way they do their floss, and some people have like file cabinets and uh, that they hang on, and closets and things like that. Unfortunately, we just don't really have the space here, and so um, I found that bobbinating is really just the best way for me because I can put it in my little boxes, and they don't take up much space. So, um, that's just for me. Also, she had asked about labeling them, especially for the ones that are not DMC, because I do bobbinate my overnights as well. So I pretty much, yeah. There we go. That's my handwriting is terrible. I apologize. This is Classic Colorworks English Ivy. So on this side, um, I'll put the name. Either I'll put like Classic Colorworks or um, Weeks. And so I'll kind of shorten it a little bit, and then if it's short, I can just do grits, or if it's longer, I can do like 2 words, 2 lines. Like the harvest harvest moon. So and green tea leaf, I kind of had to squish in there a little bit, but I can read my writing well enough most of the time that I can read what they say. So that's how I label my my overdyes. Um, Real simple. It's the company will always be on one side and the name will always be on the other. So it works out. And when I do the DMC, I used to put the sticker on one side and then write it on the other, so in case one fell off or rubbed off, I'd have it. But I've been kind of getting lazy with the stickers, and I've just been writing it on both sides. So, you know, uh, so far it's been okay. But I mean, I don't, you're careful, try to not put your big clunky fingers up where it's written, and then you're pretty good. So, you kind of get a habit of how to hold them so you don't start rubbing it. And then, you're good. So yeah, I think that's about it for that. Diane Duggan. Oh, she was talking about how Orange Pekoe. I was talking about Orange Pekoe last week. And she had mentioned that it's a grade of tea, which I went down the Google rabbit hole right after my video as it was uploading and learned a lot more than I ever thought I needed to know about Orange Pekoe. Essentially, it is a grade of black tea. So, as far as I can tell, that means like things like Earl Grey and English breakfast and all those are types of Orange Pekoe. And then there's like this big long range of like how good the tea leaves are or something. It's pretty crazy. Um, I don't really understand it, but apparently it works. So yeah. So Orange Pekoe has nothing to do with orange, or I think Pekoe was a place. I don't remember. Sorry, it was a week ago. But yeah. So that was Orange Pekoe. Um, Cammy Tweedy asked if there was any suggestions on a good starter tea. Um, that was one of the reasons why I actually um, did the Twinings, is because Twinings, and I don't know, like I said, if you're able to find this Earl Grey, but Twinings is one that you can find in like all the grocery stores. It's a very, very common tea, and they usually have pretty good selections. Black teas, herbal teas, green teas. Um, so the black teas are going to tend to be the strongest, then the green teas, and then herbal teas, which they call them tea, but they're actually not tea leaves. Herbal leaves will be herbs, plants, instead of, well, I mean, tea leaf is a plant, but you know what I mean. Uh, Instead of being a tea plant, it'll be a different kind of plant, like a chamomile or a rosehip or peppermint, anything like that. Mm. So, um, the green teas will usually be low in caffeine. There's also a white tea, which is usually kind of expensive, harder to find. It's the very, very youngest green tea leaves, I believe. Um, so green tea and white tea will be very low um, caffeine, if not none, and then herbal teas will almost always be no caffeine at all. So if that's the thing. Um, I suggest English breakfast. It's a really nice basic tea. No odd flavors. It's good with milk, with creamer. Like a basic creamer, not like a flavored. Um, a little bit of sugar if you like it, or honey and lemon, or just lemon. There's a lot of good ways to kind of gussy it up if you want to. Um, I like Earl Grey. Personally, I love Earl Grey, but it has that sort of citrusy bergamot flavor in it, which is it's kind of orangey. It sounds weird, but it really does taste good. I don't think I'm doing it justice, but so Earl Grey is one of my favorites, but not everybody likes that flavor. So give it a try maybe. But yeah, I would try Earl Grey or I mean, sorry, I tried English breakfast, lady breakfast, and um, Irish breakfast are usually kind of lighter flavor, lighter caffeine versions of English breakfast. Um, Earl Grey tends to be a little bit more bold, and this is super bold. So, yeah, like then, like I was suggesting, green teas. Um, the Republic of Tea. I didn't mention them in there. They also make some really good tea bags, and those are not hard to find. They're a little bit more expensive. You usually get a tall tin for like maybe 10, 11 bucks. But I think you get like maybe 25, 30 tea bags in there. It's not a terrible price. Um, those are good. Those are great flavors. They have a chocolate peppermint, which is really good. Um, and a good peppermint green tea is really nice in the winter. So, or if you're not feeling well, uh, chamomile tea is good when you're not feeling well. So, a little bit of honey and lemon. Make it into a hot toddy. Add a little bit of brandy or not brandy. Whiskey. I forget what it is. Anyway, but that's what my mom used to do when she didn't feel well. Good old hot toddy. But anyway, so yeah, that's that. And the last one was Healing Gamer. Um, they had actually put in a link to where they had done a custom diamond painting for Smog, which is really cool. And so that's actually a really cool idea. I'm gonna bookmark that. Maybe come back to it another time. It's a neat idea to be able to take any sort of photo you want and have them make it into a diamond painting. So that's pretty cool. Um, they had also asked about an LNS. Unfortunately, it's probably going to take some sleuthing. What I did was I looked online in the yellow pages, and there were some sewing places around my town. I don't know how big your town is, obviously. Um, and so I made a few phone calls. I went to a few places, and eventually, one of the sewing stores told me about a cross stitch store that was in town. So it just took a little bit of asking around. Um, I mean, a town of any decent size will probably have at least one place that carries, even if it's not like cross stitch, just cross stitch, that may carry some cross stitch stuff. Um, my LNS is actually half cross stitch and half beading, um, which works out well because when you got Mill Hills and stuff, that's always nice. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, this is worth taking a look at. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But yeah, I think that was all of the emails, the kind of the Q&A sort of thing. Um, Again, for new starts, I'm still so far, 16 days in, and I'm still on track with working only on my uh, smog. So maybe it'll happen. Who knows? Um, so works in progress. I'm actually pretty happy with Oh, there it goes. Okay, this light's not terrible. Pretty happy with where I am so far. I have finished the first page. That is all of the back stitching, all the half stitches, the God, what does that have in it? It has like half stitches, blended stitches, half blended stitches, lots and lots of back stitching with both one strand and two. So yeah, all sorts of good stuff. And as you can tell, I've done most of the there's a little bit more on the other side of this neck here, which I haven't gotten to yet. But I've done most of the half stitching here, most of the sky and the smoke, and I've started a little bit on his face. This little kind of empty spot here is going to be his eyeball, so there'll be a small eyeball coming in there pretty soon. So yeah, pretty happy with that. I got on virtual stitchers for the first time in forever, since definitely at least since last year. And I got a lot done. Despite that, usually when you're chatting, you want to do something that's kind of mindless. I decided that no, I think I'm just gonna, keep doing what I'm doing and make it harder on myself, which meant that I did a lot of frogging, but you know, it is what it is. So, yep. So that's works in progress. Finished? Nothing finished. Plans. I man, it's getting tougher and tougher to work just on that. And that's going to come up in just a second for my haul, because you'll see why in a moment. Um, I'm still sticking with it, but I don't know. I don't know. I have some things I want to start. So, yeah. I'm still waiting on the Baby It's Cold Outside to come in. These colors that I was showing you over here, the ones I'd marked, uh, those are the colors for Baby It's Cold Outside. So they're ready to go as soon as the pattern comes in. And I haven't picked out a pattern, fabric yet. I'm just kind of waiting to see what I think will look good when I get the pattern in my little hands. So, yep. So, oh Lord, haul. This was not pretty. Because Michelle Betty Stitchy is an evil person. Not really. She's actually really, really awesome. And if you're not watching her, go watch her. But she occasionally does a D-stash, and it's really easy to kind of not remember what you've already said me please on. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I've done worse. But I did get some cool things. And I don't know when I'm going to do any of these. But first off, the one fabric I got, which is a Pictureless Plus Crystal Twilight. It's 14 count Ada, 18 by 27, so it's a fat quarter. Um, so you can actually see it's got really nice sparkle in there. And it's a kind of it's showing up a little lighter than it is. It's actually a little darker blue than that, but it's a pretty blue. All right. And then the rest were patterns. The first one is Plum Street, and I'll put it. There we go. Ghoul Tidings. Ghoul Tidings to you. I know I didn't take them out of the plastic. I'm sorry. I love the witch with the cats. You know, the cat sleigh. So, and this one I've actually had my eye on for a long time, and I never got it, but now finally, the Oh Say Can You See? I'm probably not gonna do it as a drum. I'll probably just do the one that's a pillow. I don't know if I'll actually make it a pillow or not, but I haven't decided yet. But it's really cute. This one is Scattered Seed Samplers, Miss Matilda, and if you can tell, there's a little cat theme going on a little bit. But I was thinking about maybe trying to make this more like my cat's colors, which is almost all black and a little bit of white. But I'll probably not, because I really like the. It's really simple, not a whole lot of colors, and so I'll probably end up doing it like that. A Blackbird design. I've had a weird obsession with Blackbird designs lately. I'm not gonna lie, but this is a Garden Club Series #1, Basket of Cherries. I've had an obsession with Blackbird designs and birds in general. So, I don't know, I just thought it was really cute. I didn't know at the time that there are specialty stitches there. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I'll figure it out. Two more. One of the berries, the Scary Berry. So, eat your heart out. I'm sure Gary that from Sunshine Sisters probably already has this and probably has already done it. But Erica Michaels, Scary Berry. And again, I've never done a berry before, so I don't know if I'm going to do it as a berry or just as a as regular. So we'll see. And then the last one is Flowers of Hawaii, Book 2. I really like. I don't think that there's a finished picture in here. No, there's really not. So you kind of have to show it here. But this one right here with the kind of flowers and the aloha, it's really pretty. So, and then also from where did I go? Was it Michael's? No, it wasn't Michael's. It was Walmart, I think. Yeah, I just got a few hoops. I always seem to run out of hoops, and some BMC needles. I'm not picky about my needles. These are 24s because I have chubby hands. So I like the petite ones, but with my kind of crappy eyesight and my big ugly fingers, it's sometimes hard. And the fact that I use DMC, so I use 2 strands. Sometimes those eyes are just too small on the smaller ones. So um, that is um, that is the haul, which could have been worse, I suppose. Could have been better, but could have been worse. So that's all of that. Um, so the FlossTuber of the week. Um, and I again, there's a lot of ones. I'm like, there's a lot of people I want to do, and I keep saying, boy, I don't know why I did them before, because I only want to do one at a time, so I have a few, so I don't go through them too fast. That's so good. Vikki, um, from Stitch-N-Button, and not only has she is she just she's hilarious. I love her snarky sense of humor. Um, she's just really funny and really cool. And I actually have a couple of her needle minders, and I think one of her bags as well. Um, so I will try to remember to also put her. She has a Facebook, and I believe she has a Etsy as well. I'll link as much as I can underneath in the notes. So she's definitely worth checking out. Checking out her floss tube and her stuff. Her bags are great. Her needle minders. There's a lot of ones that are um, snarky and maybe some language, but that's fine with me. But yeah, there's some really cool needle minders. So she's definitely worth looking at. For the stitching website of the week, um, I I've gotten a few things from her, not a lot, but Kitten Stitcher, and it's just kittenstitcher.com. Again, I'll put it down below. Um, Teresa Vanette, I believe is her name. She also has a floss tube, and she's definitely worth checking out. Oh my gosh, her cats are just the best. I love her cats. Um, but she has a lot of she has a lot of stuff on her website. She tends to go towards samplers and more prim things, but she's got a good selection of everything. She also has some fabric, her sun dyes fabric, which I have not tried yet, but I'm going to get something from. I believe it's called Graham Cracker because his name is Graham, which is funny. I like it. Um, so I definitely am going to get some fabric from him eventually. But yeah, her site is great. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything, and she tends to do, and it's kind of random as to when she does it. Um, was it cash for cats and dogs? I forget what it's called exactly. But she sells patterns. A lot of times they're older patterns, out of print, things that people have donated, and the money will go towards a shelter in Mississippi. I don't know where in Mississippi, but somewhere in Mississippi where she lives. And so she's raised all sorts of great money for them, which is really cool. So she's definitely check out. And usually she sends like a little freebie pattern or something or bookmark or something along with her orders. So that's always cool. Bonus. Um, so the non-stitching website of the week. I'm going to go with it's a YouTube channel, a YouTube video. It's called Coffee Shop Sounds for Study and Concentration. I use it a lot, not only when I'm sewing, if I'm not watching FlossTube, which I use to watch FlossTube, so but also I write a little bit and I read. So it's really nice to have kind of this white noise background when you want to study, but you want some sort of noise in the background. And I think it's like 8 hours or something like that, so it'll last a while. Um, but yeah, it's kind of my go-to white noise background video. I don't even know how many times I've watched it. So again, I'll link it down there. And the random bee fact of the week. Um, it's kind of a double fact again because yay, bonus. Um, there are over 20,000 different species of bee, and they're found on every continent except Antarctica. So yeah. And unfortunately, I know in America at least, we've had those murder hornets in the news. So, yeah, I think they're kind of in Georgia. So I think they're kind of coming up this direction, which is a little scary. I am not a fan of wasps or hornets or things like that, especially when they are decimating the actual bee population, which already is in bad enough shape. So, yeah. Um, I know they're trying to find and eliminate as much as they can, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with those murder hornets. Um, so yeah, that is about it. I I guess I'll do this really fast. I was debating whether I wanted to make this a little bit longer or not. But Moonshine Crafter on Instagram did a did another tag, and so um, if I guess I'll go ahead and I'll try to do these really fast, and then I'll do the giveaway. I did not forget. I promise. So let me try to go through these kind of quick here. If you won the lottery tomorrow, what would be your very first purchase? Honestly, it's gonna sound stupid. I'd probably pay off this house, and I don't know, either take a trip to England or yeah, probably take a trip to England. So, if you were number two is if you were a bagel, what type of bagel would you be? I'd be a sesame seed bagel with cream cheese and lox. I know I'm Southern, but I like lox. You know, it's whatever. Number three is, do you have any irrational fears, and if so, what are they? I have a lot of fears, but I think most of them are fairly rational. Spiders, you know, spiders. Heights. Um, sort of enclosed spaces. It's more of enclosed spaces around my head as opposed to like around everything. Um, the only one that I think might be irrational is flying. Um, I've flown since before I could walk. Since I was like, what is it, knee high to a grasshopper? Is that the southern term? Anyway, um, and so because I've lived overseas and I've done a lot of traveling with my family when I was younger, so I was always a nervous flyer, but I was never truly scared. But about 2005 ish, 2006 ish, I actually had a really bad experience flying, and I don't remember. I remember I was going from, I believe I was going from Charlotte to uh, Philadelphia, and and it was really bad. Um, and it's bad when you ask the attendant afterwards. Like, hey, that was pretty bad. She's like, yeah, that one was kind of bad. And if the flight attendants are saying that, yeah, it was kind of bad, it's like, you know, they tend to kind of downplay things. So I'm thinking, yeah, it was bad. Unfortunately, I did have to fly back, which was okay. I mean, the flight wasn't particularly bad, but you know, I've only made one set of flights since then. Uh, so, and I know people, it's you're more likely to die driving than you are flying. I understand. I truly do. But, if your brain, when your brain is like that, there's not much you can do. If your brain thinks you're afraid, then you're afraid. You know, it's kind of the way it goes. But anyway, so that's that. Which of the seven dwarves is most like you? Either dopey or sleepy, probably. I'm pretty dopey most of the time. And I don't know, maybe not sleepy, maybe just dopey. Yeah, dopey. Um, which board game do you hate the most? I don't have a particular board game that I hate the most. I am not a big fan of playing Monopoly with my brother because he's really good at it. And I get frustrated sometimes at Clue that sometimes the solution makes no sense. But other than that, no. I don't really have one that I hate. Um, what scene from a non-horror movie scared you as a child? I honestly can't think of anything from a non-horror movie that scared me. Um, The Fly would be considered horror, I guess. Um, but horror, sci-fi. But we were, I guess, this must have been one of those times when in the 80s or 90s when you had free HBO for a weekend, and my family was sitting down watching the '80s Fly, the one with Jeff Goldblum, and so we watched it. I don't know why, because I hate horror movies. I don't know why I watched it. I guess I didn't have a choice, but so we watched it, and I was freaked out, and I walked from our living room where the TV was to the kitchen. I would assume to get a drink, and I saw a fly buzzing around the light at the top. I literally burst out crying. So, yeah, it's my embarrassing story. So, yeah, no, flies don't scare me. Actually, I hate them. They're annoying. But it was just that I was so freaked out at the time. That's why it happened. So, yeah. Flies are not an irrational fear of mine. What would it be harder to give up? Coffee or alcohol? Oh, definitely coffee. I drink alcohol some, but not a lot. Not a lot. I would be fine not drinking alcohol. And I don't even drink coffee. I don't know. I guess I do drink coffee some. Not every day, though. I do have a Keurig machine, which is nice. I love that thing. So I have the ability to have coffee every day, but usually I tend to wake up kind of late. So, by the time I woke up, it's kind of too late for coffee. Well, it's never really too late for coffee, is it? But so, but yeah, coffee would definitely be it. If a theme song played every time you entered the room, what would it be? The only thing I can think of is "Welcome Back, Cotter." Um, just because I know you guys have probably seen before I was B's and T's stitching, both on Instagram and on YouTube. I've been Seaweed Otter for a very very long time, um, and that was just a nickname that I've had for forever. Um, and so, the whole welcome back otter thing. So that's the best I can do. Sorry. Let's see. Number 9, if you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume that you'd done? I'm I'm pretty vanilla, I'll be honest. I mean, I'm really not crazy. I don't go out on drunken binges or anything. So my guess would be probably either loitering or possibly trespassing because I have done some trespassing while taking pictures before. You know, I'm a very, very amateur photographer. Uh, and so I have gone into abandoned places to, not like super, scary abandoned places, but old buildings and such, um, to take pictures. So, yeah, probably trespassing. Sorry, nothing exciting. Who would play you in a movie of your life? I don't know. I really don't. The only person who even kind of remotely looks like me would be like maybe Rosie O'Donnell, but she's not even. I don't even know what she's doing anymore. So I don't know. I can't honestly think of anybody. Um, and the last one is if you could have dinner with anyone who's still living, who would it be? The first person who comes to mind, but I'd have to be able to take my husband with me, would be Marquez, um, who has written for Doctor Who and Sherlock and other things. The new Dracula series that's on Netflix, which isn't really my bag, but it was good. I watched the first couple episodes. A little too hoary for me, um, but still a good show. Both he and my husband are huge, huge horror movie fans, and I think I would be content to just listen to them talk about horror movies for a while, maybe over a cup of tea or something. So, um, or I guess if I want to be kind of selfish and do just me. I would love to talk with Michael Stipe, talk about photography and music and such. I think that'd be pretty cool too. So, but yeah, so that's Moonshine Crafter on Instagram. She has 11 questions there, so that's just, if you want to do those, they're always, answer the questions in the comments. Do whatever you want to do. If you have FlossTube, or if you have an Instagram, answer them there. They're really cool questions. All right. So the very last thing is going to be the giveaway. Um, there were 7 entries, which is pretty good for 100 people, 102 people. So that's not a terrible um, percentage. And just so you know, again, this is 28 count Jobelim, 17 by 26, so it's a fat quarter of chocolate, I guess it's called. That's it's showing a little paler, but that's pretty close. Let's see. Yeah. Anyway, let me see if I put it back behind here. It's still showing a little too light. But anyway, so the chocolate from Fiberlicious, and which with a little changing of the colors, I think would work well with the Farm Girl from BM Bought It. So there were 7 entries, and I apologize if I butcher this name. Uh, looks like it's Carolina or Carolina Miss Miskowitz. Miskowitz. I apologize. I will write your name down there. But Carolina, or Carolina, sorry, either one. You're the winner. So I will have my email down below. Just email me and your address and all that good stuff, and I will get that out to you at the beginning of next week, hopefully. Uh, Assuming I don't have any problems getting to the post office. All right, so I guess that's about it. I went a little long this time, not too long. Um, it's just because I really, really wanted to do that tag. So, that's about it, I think. I will talk to you all guys later, and you guys have fun. Bye.